Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 1 of my Magic the Gathering Gatecrash Fat Pack. Once again, I'm doing Fat Pack Bingo. Check out the preview video on my Gatecrash Fat Pack. I've added the link to the preview video in the description below. Okay, so really excited about it. Here's my bingo card. So, hoping that I'll be able to get bingo relatively quick. I think with our devastation, I got bingo on pack number 6, I want to say. I'm really looking forward to some of the cards here on my bingo list, and hopefully for the first time I'll be able to get a square marked off with pack number 1. So I've got all of my fat pack packs right here, 1 to 9, and today we're going to do pack number 1. So I'm going to set my bingo card off to the side, and we'll revisit it once I get done with pack number 1. Let's kind of zoom in here. And as I crack this pack, as usual, it will have my commentary from a very casual, and let me stress casual, Magic the Gathering player point of view. Let's go in just a little bit more. I don't do any Friday Night Magic or Pro Tour grinding. It's going to really be based upon how I view the cards and if I'm using them in a Pioneer deck or a Modern deck. Just to have fun. So the first card is Leyla Phantom. It's 5 mana, 4 and a blue. It's an illusion at 5/5. When Leyla Phantom deals combat damage, return it to its owner's hand. Now, this is not a very exciting card. Typically in blue, I want to be controlling the board. Having this out there, I doubt it's going to be doing any combat damage other than dealing it to another creature. So it seems like a waste of time to have it chumped and returned to my hand. Next card is Aerial Maneuver. 2 mana, 1 and a white. It's an instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying and first strike until end of turn. This can be a nifty combat trick. I'd more than likely play it on defense or maybe even try to win a combat battle. I do like playing flyer decks. The thing is that I've already got flyers in the air, so I don't know that I really have a need for this. Next up is Basilicas Screecher. 2 mana, 1 and a black. It's a bat. At 1/2, it's a flyer, has extort. So this is our first keyword mechanic we can cover. I won't do it in later packs, but extort was the Orzhov mechanic. When you cast a spell with extort, whenever you cast a spell, if you have a creature or a permanent that has extort, you can pay an extra mana. Usually, in this case, it's going to be an Orzhov hybrid, so either 1 white or 1 black. If you're casting it, some of the other mechanics have a similar type of added ability. But with extort, I never really used it that much, and I don't have any decks that feature it. So, it's not something that I currently play. Disciple of the Old Ways, 2 mana, 1 and a green. It's a human warrior at 2/2. You can pay a single red. Disciple of Old Ways gains first strike until end of turn. So, kind of nifty. Grizzly Bear, with a 2/2, and if you need to, you can pay a red and, win some combat battle. Aside from that, not too much utility. Next up is Hydra Form. 2 mana, 1 and a green and a blue. It's an instant. Target land becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with flying until end of turn. It's still a land. In the Gatecrash era, or kind of the Return to Ravnica block, I tried this out in a blue-green deck. I had a weird kind of Soulbond deck, and I was newer to Magic, didn't know quite what I was doing, so I thought this would be a cool trick. I'd make my land a 3/3 flyer, get in for some damage. There's a lot of time that it was a land I needed for future in the game, and once I turned it into a creature, it got killed. So Hydra Form kind of has that memory from back when I first played it. Ruination Worm, 6 mana, 4 generic, 1 red, 1 green. You get a 7/6 with no other text. No, there's plenty of creatures nowadays that do that. And for the same amount of mana, you can get a Carnage Tyrant that has hexproof, trample, and is a 7/6 and is played quite more often. Millennial Gargoyle is next, 4 generic mana. It's an artifact creature gargoyle. It's a 2/2 flyer. No, not even my dreamiest flyer decks am I going to play this. It might just be limited draft fodder. Next up is Shielded Passage, single white mana, instant, prevent all damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn. So once again, a combat trick, you know, to save your creature. No, it's not something I really want to play. It's not something I currently use. Even in Limited, I don't think I'd even draft this and play it. Active Treason, 3 mana, 2 and a red, sorcery, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, I've featured decks that have Active Treason or Threaten effects. Sometimes they're really fun, sometimes they aren't. Usually what happens is, you know, you played it against a non-creature deck, and since your deck just hums on stealing things, doesn't quite work out. I do kind of have a Threaten effect type deck, but it's more blue-black, and it features things like Hostage Taker, Thief of Sanity, where I don't need to rely on a creature being on the board, but, you know, I can use a Gonti or a Thief of Sanity to use cards in their deck against them. Next up is Riot Gear. It's 2 generic mana. It's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2, and the equip cost is 2 generic mana. Now, there's a lot of other equipment that are quite a bit better. I really can't think of any current common artifact equipments that I do play. I mean, there's a few uncommon and rare and mythic rare, of course, but typically common artifact equipments aren't anything that I like to feature in decks. And usually if I do, it's because they're broken and they're really expensive. Ripscale Predator, 6 mana, 4 and 2 red. It's a lizard. At uncommon, it's a 6/5. Ripscale Predator can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So this got a recent reprint. It also got upgraded to a dinosaur creature type versus a lizard creature type. And I think its upgraded version was downshifted to common. So, you know, in the Gatecrash block, this was pretty cool because, you know, it had a little bit more of evasion. I believe... let's see, can't be blocked except by 2. So it has a menace. And so, you know, it's kind of a cool card. But, you know, for 6 mana, once again, there are other creatures that I do try to play, especially in red or green. Next uncommon is Ervice Protector. It's 6 mana. So both of our uncommons this far have 6 mana converted mana cost. 4 and 2 white. It's a human cleric. It's a 1/1. When Ervice Protector enters the battlefield, put a 4/4 white angel creature token when flying onto the battlefield. So I really like this effect. I don't have a deck that I currently feature it, but it's something that I feature in like a flash deck. So this is a really good creature to play. Get your 4/4 angel. If it can stick around, you know, the next turn you flash it and you get another 4/4 angel. So it can have a repeatable effect. I do play a deck that has some enter the battlefield ability by flashing in and out, but I've got creatures that I think are a little more powerful than Ervice Protector. So I do remember this is more kind of a limited bomb, and it does work out quite well, especially if you have the ability, like I said, to flash it in and out. Final uncommon that we have is Gateway Shade. It's 3 mana, 2 and a black. It's a shade at 1/1. You can pay 1 black. Gateway Shade gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's got the really cool pump ability. As much black mana as you have, you can get it up to a 3/3, 4/4, 5/5. You can also tap an untapped gate you control, and Gateway Shade gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So if you're running in a deck during, you know, any of the Ravnica blocks, specifically the last 2, Return to Ravnica, and then the Guilds of Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance, there were guild gates. And so being able to tap a gate, if you're playing it, you know, is going to give this a 3/3, and then if you've got some more black mana, you know, you've got a 5/5, 6/6. The only drawback to this is, sure, it's got a really good pump ability, but it doesn't have evasion. So you may be able to pump it quite a bit. Maybe you're going to do that to win combat, but unless it's unblocked or somehow you get trample on it or evasion like flying, you know, it's just another creature that can be chump blocked. And, you know, what's really cool is you can chump block with a 1/1 and then force them to spend mana or tap their gate so that their Gateway Shade lives. Okay, so far not anything that we can mark off on bingo. Will this be the first time in pack 1 that we're able to mark off a bingo square? Nope. Rebel Belt Raiders, it's 4 mana, 1 generic, and then 1 hybrid Gruul one hybrid Gruul, and one hybrid Gruul, you get a human warrior that's a 3/3. Whenever Rebel Belt Raiders attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each attacking creature you control. Now, definitely this can get out of hand in a green-red deck. Typically you have creatures, you're turning them sideways, and so you're going to be able to add counters on to Rebel Belt Raiders. I've never really had an opportunity to play it. I don't really have a deck that it would fit into, so more than likely Rebel Belt Raiders is going to end up going into my eBay account and selling it, for like $1.50, $2 or something like that. So not quite the card that I was hoping to get in the rare and mythic rare slot. And then we have a Swamp, Return to Ravnica. Remember, they didn't create Gatecrash land, so it's a Return to Ravnica land, and then an add card instead of a really cool token. If I were drafting this pack, or my favorite card out of the pack, I am probably, I'm going to go with Ervice Protector. Even though I haven't really played much with Ervice Protector, it's definitely a card that I think has a lot of potential. You play it, you get a 4/4 Angel, it enters the battlefield. If you've got some abilities like Teferi's Time Twist or Cloud Shift, you're able to flash it in and out and create another Angel. So it does have a little bit of a repeatable effect. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comment section what was your favorite card or the best card out of the pack. Until next time, when I'm back to crack pack number 2 from my Magic the Gathering Fat Pack in Fat Pack Bingo.